Welcome back to Mark Holowitz, the vlog, everybody. Thanks for joining in again today. Today is a special day. As you can see, we are driving in my brand new car. Now, whether you came from my other channel, which is Exotic Car Play Place, or whether you just stopped in to say hi, today is a special day. I need to share with you guys my new car because since I sold my BMW 335i, I've been on the prowl and I needed to find something that was fast, fun, sounded great, and here we are. So let's talk about my brand new Jaguar F Type R. So here we are, voila, this is my new car for the channel. It is a 2018 Jag F Type R. How did I come to a Jaguar? I mean, after all, most Jaguars you typically recognize as being sort of the boulevard cruiser or sort of the country club estate car. That's usually how I kind of associate Jaguars. However, they've done great things and gone great lengths to try to bring in younger audiences that are normally into maybe performance cars or a more youthful type of driving experience. And that's where we're at today. We have the F Type R. Now, how did I get to this point? You guys probably all thinking, like, there's a million different cars out there to buy. And being that I really like driving BMWs, I know a lot of you guys are really shocked by this. I know you are, but don't fret and don't run from the channels because I still do own BMWs and I still believe that my E60 M5 is really one of the best performance sedans on the planet. Even though it's not really all that reliable, it's still a great car. But I got into this car because remember, this channel isn't about being a BMW guy. I'm not a BMW person per se, even though I drive a lot of BMWs. The intent of my channels is to provide information. On my other channel, this channel, the vlog, is really the experience and the ownership and to the why. Why do we drive cars like this? Because life's too short to drive boring cars. That's why. So this car leads into the why. It has nothing to do with being a BMW guy or a Benz or AMG or Ferrari or Porsche or Lamborghini, maybe a Honda. It doesn't matter. It's not about that. It's about what's a great driving experience, and that's how we get to driving a F Type R. It is really one of the greatest experiences out there. Yes, I know. I had looked at the new M4 and the M4 competitions, and I've said in previous videos that I probably wouldn't buy the current generation M4 just because they're coming up with a new model, and I'm very excited to see what that new model is all about. They're talking that it's supposed to have close to 500 horsepower, so I'm very excited for that. I didn't want to go back into kind of what is the older generation, even though I know they're doing a facelift on this car as well here right away, or it's kind of coming out right now. The reality is, for me, the M cars are great, but I wanted to take it to another level. Yes, the M5 competition could have satisfied the performance end of this. As a matter of fact, with 600 horse, it's arguably a hair quicker than the F Type R. But this also brings the sounds. And again, we talk about the why, right? I mean, after all, it's really the whole driving experience. It's the looks, the sound, the speed, it's all of the packaging put together. These cars are so nicely put together, these Jags, that you're also in the lap of luxury within. So you can drive it as a great daily driver. It's got all-wheel drive, so it satisfies my daily driving requirements, particularly in the wintertime, because I do use this car through the entire year. That's the full reason why I bought it. It has to satisfy all the 4 seasons. But let's do a quick walk around and I'll show you some of the key elements. I mean, we're going to get a lot more into this in the vlog and my regular channel, and we're really going to dive into a lot of the unique features and things. But let's just do a very high level talk and walk and look at this car up close. Let's go take a look here. So as you can see here, actually, my car has the carbon fiber blade upgrades, which is a beautiful look. Absolutely beautiful. That was about a $3,500 option to get these carbon fiber upgrades. So that's a good look. Now I stuck with the steel discs, not that I had a choice, but I like the fact that they're steel discs from a maintenance perspective. Sure, they don't work as good on a track, and if you're driving the car hard over and over, you're going to want the carbon ceramic upgrade, but I'm good with the steel. They're cheaper for maintenance and for daily use. Then of course I've got the nice dark gray paint scheme on here. Generally a very, very nice looking car all the way around. See, this is really, realistically, a big part of why I love the look of these cars. I mean, if you look up the fender lines there, they're absolutely amazing. That's a gorgeous car all the way around. The lines are just amazing. Get these great little handles, that's kind of cool. These little fender protectors, there's lots of great features. But looking here at the quad exhaust, I mean, look at that quad exhaust there. Oh, that is amazing. And of course, knowing that you're driving the beast, the F Type R, you got this sleek little taillights. That is another beautiful, beautiful styling element with these cars here as well. Love that look. And we move around, you know, you've got your typical accents. Absolutely beautiful car all the way around. Doesn't matter what angle you're looking at it, there are no bad angles. Beautiful grille, very open, big mouth grille. Of course, the new generation car is a little different. This is bigger, and they do away with these headlights. The current generation gets rid of these and they go with the sleeker headlights now, more like the Aston Martins. Now I look around up here, my car actually has glass roof. So if you look, it's kind of hard to tell, but the entire roof just transitions. So you go from the windshield and then you transition into glass, and this whole roof line is one big sheet of glass, and it gives you an immense amount of light on the inside. Now, another thing why I bought this car. So honestly, it's one of the sexiest styled cars today that you can get on the market. That's not an exotic. I mean, this isn't really an exotic car. You could say it's Jaguar Supercar. However, it is the closest thing to an exotic that's not an exotic. But this car is magnificent to look at. It's just gorgeous from every single angle. That's also why I bought it. There's other features. Now we'll share with you some of the bits on the performance as we get further into the vlog. But in short, this has a supercharged 5-liter V8 that makes about 550 horsepower. So yes, this will decimate a lot of cars out there. This is sort of GTR performance levels in terms of acceleration, but it has a lot more of that grunt, that feel, that torquiness, because this is ultimately Europeans' answer to a muscle car. But the sounds of the exhaust are another thing that you got to take a look at. Here, let's take a look. Let's take a listen, actually. Not a bad sound, actually, is it now? So let's take a look quickly on the interior. We'll do just a quick little tour. Pull the handle like that. We'll just do a quick sweep through here. What a absolutely amazing interior. Very, very clean and luxurious. Some cool styling elements throughout. Really, it has a level of fit and finish that really exceeds anything that I've seen from BMW in recent years. So again, back to kind of why I bought this car versus some of the others. I know a lot of you guys were guessing, possibly thinking that I might buy an AMG C63 or E63 car. Those are absolutely amazing. I've driven one, actually. I drove a C63S Coupe, and it felt very comparable to this. Overall, the feel and the vibe was very much similar to the Jaguar here, actually. The C63S felt very much like this car. The sound was comparable. The performance was very, very similar, although this might have a little bit of an edge, but it was close enough to say, hey, it's a very comparable car. The Benz actually had a very nice interior, so I wasn't disappointed there at all. It just, I don't know, there's just something missing for me. The Benz is cool because it's turbocharged instead of supercharged. It had a lot of power, but it actually had a more updated, if you like the techie interiors, the E63 and the C63s have a much more revised interior, more digital displays and electronics and gizmos. So if you like that, that's a great way to go. This car is a little bit more conventional. We have more standardized type of analog gauges, which is really something that appeals to me, but it's not the end of the world. I did also look at a TTRS. I know some of you guys were asking, why don't you buy a TTRS? Trust me, I actually came close. I was dealing with a local dealer. They were a little bit greasy, and quite frankly, we couldn't meet. We were $800 or $900 apart between negotiations. I actually could be sitting here right now talking about a TTRS with you guys. but we couldn't cut the deal. And honestly, I really didn't want to spend as much as I did as I did on the Jaguar here. But ever since I drove one of these about 2 years ago, I got behind the wheel of a 17 model year at the time. I did a quick review on that on the channel way back in my kind of earlier years. Honestly, I loved it. I knew it. I drove a 911 Carrera S, and then I got behind the wheel of one of these F Type Rs. And I like Porsches, and I truly believe they were one of the best sports cars on the planet. But there's a vibe, there's an unspoken thing of a detail that I can't even explain on paper. I can't explain it on TV or YouTube. I can't really write it down. It's just it's a vibe, a sense you get. There's sort of again, it's just one of those things. As soon as I got out of the F Type R and I had already driven the 911, I was absolutely, this is the car to have. In my opinion, this is the car I wanted to drive. At that point, I sort of lost interest in the 911 Carrera S. Now, that being said, I mean, hey, if you give me a 911 GT2 RS, I know I would be absolutely flabbergasted. GT3 RS, phenomenal cars too. So don't get me wrong, they're all great cars, and I would drive any one of them. And trust me, when I was shopping, I had looked at some modern day 911s. As a matter of fact, I was also looking kind of closely at a 991. So first generation 991 911. That's the latest and greatest style. Well, it's not the latest. Now they have a 992, but it was a relatively current model. So I had looked at one of those. I really like the stylings, particularly the rear tail lights, how they're sleeker, and the headlights are a lot cleaner. It's a nicer car in general. It's got a lower roofline. It's a beautiful restyle for Porsche, and I really believe if you're going to get into the 911 world, the 991 or the 992 is really the way to go. And it's not just because it's newer. They really are revised and revamped so much better. Yeah, I looked at the M4. Wasn't really in the cards for me, as I mentioned earlier. The M2 competition, I've done videos on that, and I said that would be the car I would buy in terms of BMW world. If I were to buy a new BMW, I would probably buy the M2 competition. Mainly because you can get either a DCT or you can get a manual gearbox, and you got that absolute ferocious, mangy engine that comes out of the M4, and then they go and shoehorn that in the M2, which makes it an absolute crazy ride. So I love the M2 competition. The only thing in the interior is a little bit dressed down. It's not an inexpensive car, although it's a pretty good bang for your buck. If you've got $70,000, $80,000 to spend, I can't think of a better way to spend it. It's, in my opinion, versus TTRS, if you're going to buy the car brand new, the M2 competition is the way to go, hands down. I think in my mind, the TTRS is a great $60,000 car, but the M2 competition is a great $80,000 car. Yeah, I looked at the new M5 and M5 competitions, but there's nothing old enough yet, or that's been on the market yet long enough, that I'm able to get a slightly used one for the right dollar. Otherwise, you're paying the full meal deal and paying your, $120,000, $130,000 Canadian dollars. And I didn't really want to spend that. And the same thing applies here. This F Type R, when it was brand new, was about 130 grand because of a couple of the upgrades that it has. 130 Canadian, of course, not US. So I ended up just saying, you know what? I'll wait for the F Type R. They've been around for a few years. I didn't want the rear-wheel drive either on low or down on power, particularly the V8S with 500 ponies. I wanted the late model R with the all-wheel drive. So I kind of had to wait for a later model, get a 2017, 18 is kind of where I was looking. But to find one that suffered enough depreciation that made it feasible to buy into, that's where we came to here today. I really wasn't planning on it, but I knew long-term goals, that was a car to have. So this really, really answers everything. All-wheel drive functionality for winter, sounds second to nothing. Performance as fast as almost anything out there that you can possibly want, under 150 grand. And honestly, it just has the whole meal deal for me. I've also got an extended warranty, so be sure to get that. I would suggest that, recommend it highly if you're buying one of these cars. You never know how that goes, but I'll share with you my experience, and maybe that'll help, either sell you or dissuade you from buying one of these cars. But I expect to see good things. And I know I've done reliability videos on these cars, and there were some things that I noted that were common issues, like exhaust valves and some of these vents, like the heater vent here that you get that pops up, that can rise up from the dash here. I mean, there was a few things that were noted as possible failures that people had seen as issues. But honestly, I don't expect a whole lot of problems. You can search the net. There are issues with these cars. The biggest issues is the fact that they're very expensive to fix. And again, I'll share with you guys as we get into this whole car and the experience and as we go here. So that's all I have to say for today on this, but thanks for sticking around, everybody. It's been a slice, and I really can't wait to get behind the wheel and log some serious hours in this F Type. Thanks again, everybody, for sticking around. Be sure to hit that subscribe button over there. You really want to be part of the ownership experience of the F Type R Jag, which we're driving in today. Don't forget, I also have a Lamborghini, and any one of these cars could make the channel on a day-to-day basis. After all, life is way too short to drive boring cars, and you really want to learn what it's like to be part of the ownership of a supercar or an exotic car. So thanks again, everybody. I really can't wait to see you on the next one. Catch you soon. Bye-bye.